In one of the writings of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton, she says the great object of all the mysteries of Christ is to merit for us the grace of his interior life and communicate it to us. And that's the mission that he has, that he wants to draw us into his interior life so that as we go out and live whatever we're doing, however we're called to serve, that his life may be molded and shaped and blended with us, that we may be interiorly united with Christ and he with us. So as we go throughout our days, it's a loving we with Jesus. It's always a loving we. Jesus and I. Experiences is Jesus and I together. So a Christian is never alone. We got to remember that. We are never alone. The loving heart of Jesus is always with us in this beautiful dialogue of life, this beautiful dialogue of love with Christ. And in today's gospel, it's this beautiful movement, this movement where John is standing with two of his disciples, and then he looks at Jesus. And then it says, as he walked. So he looked at Jesus as he walked, and then he said, behold the Lamb of God. And for us, we think of lamb, but what was it like in their context when they thought of lamb? When they thought of lamb, the slaughtered lamb. That's what their context was of Passover, the slaughtered lamb, right? That you put on the post, right? In the book of Exodus, where it saved the people of Israel and led them out to a land of freedom. It saved them from the curse of death. So when they hear the Lamb of God, they look at Jesus' face. And you can imagine, what did Jesus' face look like to them? And here they hear the Lamb, the one who will be a sacrificial offering out of love for you. The Lamb of God. Behold the Lamb of God. And we say that at the Mass. Behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. The sacrificial Lamb who broke open his very heart out of love for each one of us, each one of you. And then it has this beautiful part where the disciples are following this Lamb, following Jesus. And then what's beautiful is Jesus turned. He turned towards them. So they turned towards him, following him, and he turned towards them. And then he saw them, and he says this is what's so provocative of Jesus. He says, what do you seek? He doesn't say, hello, how are you today? I'm Jesus Christ. No, he says, what do you seek? And why does Jesus ask questions in the gospel? He asks questions because a question makes us turn into our own hearts. What do you seek? You kind of have to go into your own mind and your own heart. What am I seeking? And so it shows something that Jesus is saying, I want you to get into your heart. Why are you seeking me? What do you seek? And he's having them enter into their heart because why? He wants them to enter into the poverty of their heart. That they're empty. There's something they're lacking. They're not fulfilled with. And that's why they're seeking Christ. He's kind of illuminating his beauty, his goodness, his truth by helping them see their poverty of heart. And says, what are you seeking? And they say, well, where are you staying? Shows great desire to be with Jesus. Where are you staying? I want to be with you. And then he says, come and see. He invites them, just like he invites each one of us to a relationship with him. Come and see. And then towards the end of the gospel, it's this beautiful of sharing of Christ, when one of the two who heard John speak and followed him was Andrew, Simon's Peter. And then Andrew finds Simon and invites him, says, we have found the Messiah, because he was with the Messiah. So he invites him to this encounter. And then this encounter happens of Simon with Jesus, where his name is then changed. And so for us, what is this getting at? Is we need to get this intimacy with Christ. We need to be able to hear Christ say to each one of us, what are you seeking? I'd be very interested to hear what you all would respond to that. If Jesus says today to you, what are you seeking? What are you seeking? Why are you here? What are you seeking? That's the question he asks of us, because he wants this deep, interior relationship with us, a heart to heart. There is nothing Jesus wants us to keep hidden from him. There is nothing. Don't be ashamed of it. If you have a crazy thought sometimes, share it with him. He doesn't want anything hidden. He wants a relationship, a loving we. Even if you're in the midst of sin and you say, Jesus, I invite you in this sin. I'm about to sin. I invite your love in it. You beg his love into your sin. That can change the circumstances significantly because it's in that loving we. Always remain in that loving we. And what I would like to encourage us all is to do a retreat. If you've never done a retreat before, to take time to do like a 3-day retreat. We have Manresa, just right up the road. And we have, what's another place? Miles Christi Fathers, South Lyon. But if you've never taken a retreat, I would really encourage you to do that. To stay with Jesus, to come and see him, to get away from the loud environments and just rest with him, so that you can be interiorly alive in him. And then when you go out, you can tell people, I've seen the Messiah, I've seen the Lord. And you can invite them to this relationship because you yourself have this relationship. So let's ask for the grace to have this interior relationship with Christ, this loving we with Jesus, and let's be united with him.